Welcome to a new generation, new conversation, my stimulation. Come and hang with Dope Digest. Feed your cravings, fight your haters. Either way, we dropping content, and you know just where to find it. Hey! What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Tashina here from Dope Digest, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to our channel. Today, I am going to do a get ready with me video. So, I'm trying out this new Fenty Beauty products. See what my winter shade is like. I've actually used Fenty Beauty before with my summer shade, but I noticed that it was a little too dark for me after a while. So I went and got a new pack, and then also Fenty has this new concealer, their Profilter concealer, that I would definitely like to try out. So let's get started. Just to give you guys a little bit of background, my skin is mostly dry. I have a little bit of oiliness like in my T-zone or whatever, but for the most part my skin is very dry. So what I start off by doing is always a dash of lotion, just like a little bit, because I don't want it to get too oily, right? So I'm gonna start off with some lotion. And I don't want you guys to be too excited about this video because this is going to be real simple. Today is Thursday. It's the first week of school in the summer semester. It's my last semester, so I'm graduating this year in May in a couple months. So I'm really not going to be trying to impress anybody. I just want to do a real basic, everyday, get ready with me kind of vibe. Alright, so after the lotion, the next step is pretty basic. I am going to use a primer. The primer that I'm using is cheap drugstore primer. It is Maybelline's Master Prime primer by Facestudio. This is the blur and smooth formula. So I usually like to have like a matte finish. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use a little dollop size amount, put that over my face. So, originally when I bought my Fenty Beauty product for the first time, it was towards the summer, and I was a shade 420. And then, like I said, I realized that it was too dark for me as I got paler in the wintertime. So I went out and tested out a new shade, and I found that I believe that my new shade is gonna be 385. I also got a 385 in the Profilter concealer. So I'm gonna take this real old brush. I got this pack of brushes like, I don't know, years ago. Shake it up because that's what it says on the bottom. I'm gonna put some of it on my brush. Now when I apply it to my face, I'm either gonna use up and down strokes or I'm gonna pat. So this will be up and down strokes, right? On this side. And don't worry if it looks too light. Fenty Beauty is known to oxidize, so what that means is it's gonna look darker by the time it hits the sun. In this side, I'll show you. I'm gonna pat. But also, I don't know, I think I just like the way that the foundation sits on my skin just a little bit better when I use the down strokes. But I don't think it actually matters. All I know is that I was told once in my history to never do swipes, side swipes like this. That's not the way. It's just gonna create the lines, especially like under your eyes and things. It's gonna create lines that you don't want to see. So for my forehead, I probably should use the 420 shade, but I'm gonna test it out on the 385 and see what happens. So I just put way smaller amount, like so much smaller than the first time. Hopefully you can tell. That is shade 385 so far, guys. It does look a little ashy, I'm not gonna lie, but just a little bit, and I fully expect it to oxidize and get darker over time. So, now that we got our foundation, we're about to try the Profilter concealer. All right, so this is also in a shade 385 because that's what Riri, you know, my girl, that's what she recommends that we do. But I don't think this is gonna actually be the same shade. It's supposed to be slightly lighter. Hey, puppy. It's my dog, sorry. Hey, big boy, come here. Come here. You guys wanna see my boy? Randall. Hey, big boy. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, puppy. He just came to check on me. Alright, so did I say I think that these shades are supposed to be slightly lighter than the actual foundation shade so that you can use it as your highlight, which is genius because that's exactly what I wanted for. Like, you know, obviously sometimes you want to like run out the door with just some concealer and some eyeliner or something like that, but this, I don't think this will be the shade for it. But we'll see how light it is, you know? So what I usually do is just do a little line right here. You probably don't need a whole lot. Alright, I'm gonna do a little line on both cheeks there. A little line down the middle of my nose, the bridge of my nose. And here, fanned out on my forehead. Alright? In addition to that, I usually have a highlight line under my eyebrows. Notice I'm not re-dipping my brush because this is supposed to be a simple, clean look. You know, you don't need a lot of product. And that's why my makeup tends to last me a really, really, really long time. Woo. So I'll do all that. If you want to get fancy, you could like put a little bit on your Cupid's bow here to highlight that, and on your chin, right? But just a dash, like it's really not super important if we're really being honest. I have this older concealer by Clinique. It is an 11 deep. Hopefully you can see that. I'll put all the products in the description box below. Now I've had this for years. I actually had another Clinique concealer, this one, and it's so old like you can't even see what it was. This was like completely empty. This was my highlight concealer for a really long time, but I really wanted to try Riri because, you know, we gotta stick together, sis. So what I usually use this for is, since it's a darker color, I'll just go in and dab some under my eyes just to get rid of those bags, right? And then I also cover this up, you know, this little fake ass mustache. I'm just kidding, guys. I don't have a mustache, just a little one though. Right? So, got all this stuff. I like to use my fingers for this. For concealer, I like to use my fingers, especially the ones under my eyes. But I do have a concealer brush in my little MAC set here. Under my eyes, I definitely use my fingers. So I'm gonna start off with like my middle or ring finger, and I'm gonna dab here. All right, so I got all of that, right? Next, I take a different finger And with my Clinique concealer, I literally only use like a dab of it. But the consistency is also different. The Clinique concealer is very thick. It's not creamy, it's not lotiony, it's very thick. It's like a paste or something. I'm gonna use my brush for this side so you guys can see how it turns out. And it looks like this is setting pretty damn quickly. So all right, so now that I got the base on my face, right? That rhymed. Base, face. I am going to do my contouring. I do contour on the daily okay, let me be clear. I don't wear makeup every day. But if I did, anytime I do wear makeup, I do contour, and I use this contour palette from MAC, and it comes with a highlight shade and a contour shade. So I usually take this brush here, and I use one side for my contouring and one side for my highlighting. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the highlight shade. That. And I'm pretty much gonna put my highlight on every part of my face that I put the concealer on. And then for the contour side, take some and I kind of rub a little bit there to make that line lightly, and then I'm gonna put some here. I always start with the places that I know I want to have the most product so that I don't have to wipe it off and start over. So I do right under my cheekbones here. And then I'm gonna draw a line up here, and another focus area is on my temples, right? I like to contour the perimeter of my face, so where my hairline is, a lot of the time I'll put contour powder on there just to kind of help get rid of that harsh line too. Okay, got my contouring going, right? Done with that. Next for the foundation is blush. Now I do have this shade of blush by Maybelline. This is a deep rose. But you know, free sponsor girl, or at least send me some free shit. You know what? I'll just take a concert ticket, to be real. We could be friends. So I'm gonna take this angled brush here that I have. Get a little bit of concealer. Excuse me, a little bit of blush, right? And I just smile, and I kind of just, wherever my cheeks are, I just move a little bit back some. So. A new season. Next, it is time for bronzer. Once again, this is a Clinique bronzer. It's called Sunblushed. That's what it looks like there. So I tend to use the biggest brush that I have for my bronzer. It's flat, it's fluffy, and I just feel like the way that it applies the powder to my face just gives me that nice shimmery look. And I love bronzer. It don't matter if it's day or night. I love bronzer. It just gives me such a glow that I don't think anything else can really give me. So, and I just kind of, you know, sweep it very on the top of my cheekbones to highlight those cheekbones that, you know, we pretend to have. So that's pretty much it for like the base coat of my face. Since this is like a very basic tutorial, I'm not gonna get too fancy with like my eyes and stuff like that. But I'm just gonna show you guys a few tricks that I like to do, keep myself looking good. Let's see. I guess I want to start with, I can't do my eyebrows. Like, did I put that disclaimer out there? I don't know how to do eyebrows. I've tried it. I come out looking real silly. They look thick, they look dark. It just doesn't work. I find that I tend to look better if I don't do my eyebrows. So if you do know how to do your eyebrows, this will probably be the point that you did it. So I would go ahead and do that. But for me, I am going to take this eyeshadow brush and my Maybelline palette. I don't have very many eyeshadow palettes. Drugstore. I'm going to take this dark color right here. This is probably like the darkest color that they have in this palette, or one of them anyway. All right, so I'm gonna take this darkest shade here and use it on my crease. And I'm not even trying to put a whole lot too, because I'm not gonna put a bold color on my lid. All right, and then I have another eyeshadow brush. This is more, it'll apply the pigment much more compact. This brush here. Right? And I'm going to take something simple like this first color that I told you guys that I use often. I'm gonna pack that heavily onto the lid of my brow. And it's really just a shimmer, like it comes out like a pinkish brown type color. For this part, I'm gonna press. Earlier, if you guys noticed, I was using sweeping motions for the crease because I was just trying to blend. This, I want to be a hard color, hard line, very pigmented. Okay, so now that I have my eyeshadow done, that's all I'm gonna do for eyeshadow. It's time for liner. So right now I'm using e.l.f. liquid liner. I like it. I used to use Wet n Wild liquid liner. It pretty much looked just like this. So whatever you can find at the drugstore, girl. I start in the middle of my eye because I don't want to get a thick glob towards the inside part there, because you need that to be a little more precise. I'm not great at wing liners, so I don't tend to do that. And especially for this look, you don't need it because, you know, it's a simple look. It's like an everyday thing. It's not a glam look. So you don't need something dramatic like a wing liner. So next we have our mascara, and this is a L'Oreal two-step mascara. It looks like this. So step one, see, it has a step one and a step two. Step one is a primer. Step two is mascara. And this is a curved brush. So go through with your primer, step one, and I use this to coat my lashes with the primer and also to brush them out, to try to fan them out to look how I'm gonna want them to look. All right, so after you put on your primer, I usually take this opportunity to line my bottom lashes while my primer dries. And one of the tips that I want to share with you guys is to use a like off pink peach color liner on the bottom, especially if you're tired. If you want to look more awake, definitely grab you one of these. It does wonders. Start by I'm just gonna put this in the waterline here. So now you'll have that nice highlight under your eyes, right? Also, I like to go in with your regular black or charcoal or dark color that you like. Sometimes I use bright colors, but we're not getting glammed up today. Now this is Revlon liner, and it has a smudge brush on the back. Hey baby! Oh, what are you doing? Are you recording? Yes! You're running. So what I just went ahead and did is I used the other end of this liner brush, which is supposed to be the smudger, to just kind of blend it a little, make it less harsh of a line there. Now that I've finished with my eyeliner, I'm gonna go back in with my second coat of mascara, my actual mascara. Now when I apply my mascara, I don't use brushing motions like I did with the primer. I apply it and then I kind of just rub it, you know, to let the product coat the strands but not pull it off, if that makes any sense. I like to try to emphasize the small ones on the inside.